Rhythm and flow, she got that rhythm and flow. Rhythm and flow, let me hear that rhythm and flow. Radio show.
Hey, this is Lenny Williams.
And this is Katie Lowe.
And I enjoy listening to IntellectualRadio.com.
And welcome to Rhythm and Flow.
I want to welcome you to the number one internet radio station, IntellectualRadio.com, an iHeart radio station with over 70 shows, 70 to 150 hosts and co-hosts streaming 24/7 device with internet access. I want you to know that I am big and beautiful. I'm fat and oh so fabulous. I'm plump and I'm pretty. I'm getting curvy and I've always been cute. But most important, I'm confident. I'm the boss lady of Rhythm Flow Radio, your host, Katie Lowe. Well, we had a great show lined up for you, and we still do. Our guest, JuJilla, I guess is how I pronounce his name, and Nut G had an emergency. Somebody is going to be a proud papa. At least that's the message that I got, that Nut G's wife was having a baby. So if they're not telling the truth, I'm spreading the lie. How about that? So never tell me that you can't make it because somebody's having a baby. Because right now it's all over Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on iHeart. Everybody knows that Nut G's wife had a baby. Girl, I swear I hope you had that baby. Because if they didn't, somebody lied on you. Enjoy the music of my girlfriend Tony Red. Hey, listen, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about these trending topics, and then I'm gonna play you some awesome music by some awesome independent artists. Please enjoy Footsteps in the Dark. Tony Red down in Hotlanta.
I still care, I still care. What's the sense of going elsewhere? You know, I still care, I still
The mighty sound of Tony Red footsteps in the dark. Tony Red from down, I guess she's still down there in Hot Atlanta. You can buy her music on iTunes or you can get it on Amazon Music. That is Footsteps in the Dark. That is by Tony Red. Like I said, you can get that music. You can get it on iTunes or Amazon Prime. Well, let's talk about what's trending on Facebook. Not only Facebook, it's just trending on social media. Well, this is a Chicago thing. You know, Mayor Lori Lightfoot said that she was going to have reform. And I tell you, I believe there's going to be some reform with these aldermans. So, Alderman Willie Cochran. I don't know. That name Cochran, Willie Cochran, that name really sounds familiar, not only as alderman. I hope he wasn't kin to the Cochran that owned that church on Chicago Avenue, that preacher that recently passed. But Willie Cochran was sentenced to in prison in a public corruption case. A federal judge sentenced disgraced former Alden Willie Cochran to 1 year in prison for wire fraud Monday. You know, I wonder, do aldermen just do they do stupid things, or are they being trapped? You know, this. I mean, okay, the female alderman from the South Side, huh? Carrie, yes, Carrie Austin. Another one. She got. I mean, her office was raided. She got indicted. What's going on? Tell me. I just don't understand. Are these people? Listen, they're paid. They get a salary. They get somewhere like 100, between 135,000 and $140,000 a year. This is their salary to do what they want to do with. They don't have to share it with the community. They're aldermen, but this is your salary. You don't have to share it with anybody. And I'm quite sure there's some other perks that come along with being alderman. You probably get some other little perks, outside of that $137. You may round off. I mean, you're already that's $100,000. That's a six-figure income. And I mean, you're getting an income like this. Why you gotta take? Why you gotta steal? Unless you're heavy in debt. And I mean, if you go, I mean, if I'm gonna go to prison, if I'm gonna do some time, I'm gonna do some time for something big. I'm gonna go rob the Federal Reserve Bank. I know I'm gonna get caught, but if it's gonna be something with my name behind it, it's got to be a big crime. I'm not gonna do no little old crime and get no year. I'm gonna do a big crime. Okay, I mean, you're already getting 137,000, maybe better than that. Put other things, and I don't know. You resign because of some corruption. I mean, are they doing it? I mean, $14,000. You making 137 or $40,000 a year. You go to jail for 14,000. Dog, you lost your salary and then some. Why you gonna take $14,000 when you're making 137.40? How can $14,000 interest you? Now, I could see if it was like $1 million, I'm gonna take a bribe. Come on, let's take that bribe. Okay? For not 14,000. Come on. What is going on? I just don't understand it. But Alderman Cochran, I don't know, 1 year in prison. He could still come back out. And could he come back out and run for public office again? Sure you can, because most crooks do. Okay? That is one of the things that I wonder, maybe I want to look this up and I have this for the next show. I wonder how many aldermen in Chicago have either lost their job because of some criminal activity or for embezzling money. I wonder how many. I mean, there were quite a few for a while that every time we turn around, aldermen in Chicago were getting caught up into some kind of scheme. Now it's still happening, but it's not happening as usual. So I'm just wondering, maybe somebody, if you got the answer to this, you can call me at 708-223-8953. If you got the answer to why these aldermen go to jail, I'm gonna say it. Earl might kick me out for bullshit. Call me and let me know. $14,000 ain't no money. You can't buy no car. You can buy a $10,000 used car that might run a year and break down. But I'm saying that if you're gonna take a bribe and get you some money. If I'm gonna rob the bank, I'm telling you, I need to go to the Federal Reserve where that money is. Okay? If I'm gonna do something stupid, I'm gonna do something whereas it's gonna make the name big, and I'm gonna be smart enough to get away with some of the money. So if I don't die in jail and I make it out, I'm gonna live happily ever after. But taking these stupid bribes, come on now, we can do better than that. We can definitely do better than that. One of the other things, hold on, that I want to talk about before I play you another song, because I'm going to repeat this again. My guest had unexpected. They had an emergency. I'm gonna say this again, BJ. I hope you listen because you told me this. Nut G's wife went into labor, and I guess his name is how you pronounce that, JuJilla. JuJilla is with him at the hospital, and the wife went into labor. So that's what my guest called in and told me. So, girlfriend, I hope that you are pregnant, and I hope you're in labor, and I hope you having that baby, because I wouldn't wish that on nobody. I swear I would. And if I was a sister and these brothers was lying on me, I'm gonna tell you something. I'd probably have to have me a drink of Moscow Mule, and I would make a mule out of whoever told that lie. So I hope they. I'm not lying. I hope they telling the truth, because I can't stand for nobody that. I hate for somebody to lie when all they got to do is tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? I hate for somebody to lie. Okay, another thing. I do have to mention. I gotta go find it. Uh, the great granddaughter of Hidden Figures, Catherine Jones, earns a perfect math score. She's a bright student at Palmer Elementary School. Uh-oh. I just got a text message. Anyway, back to what I was saying. She's a bright student at Palmer Elementary School. Uh, and she's continuing her grandmother's legacy by astronomically excelling in mathematics, because we knew Catherine Jones was a part of Hidden Figures. Her granddaughter, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Nakia Boykins, that is her name. She scored a perfect 600 on her math standard of learning test. The third grader, listen, a third grader scoring a perfect 600 on her test score Wednesday. Could you imagine her being this smart as a third grader? Boy, if her mind is challenged, I can see her coming out of college with a master's degree at 16. This is a third grader. So you can imagine by the time she gets 16, if they keep making sure that her education isn't a priority, believe me, at 16, she could be coming out of college with a master's. And that that is awesome. That is definitely awesome. I mean, that is something to be proud of. Now, I'm going to play the song. Then I'm going to tell you about this woman from Galena, shot, killed while visiting her family. And this happened on Chicago's South Side. But I'm going to play this song for you, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about these topics that are trending on Facebook. And we're going to say congratulations to Nutji. And the name of this song is That's the Way. And this is Tony Red with Kurt Whalen. This is one nice song. You can buy this on iTunes or Amazon Music. And the name of the album that it's on is Her Redness. But enjoy this music, and I'll be right back.
When the frustrations in my life seem like I'm going nowhere, struggling to get ahead. Seems like your positive embrace tells me that it's okay. You will always be right there holding me. That's the way. You turn me around, you lift me up so high, I touch the sky. That's the way. With your love I'm found, baby, that's the way. And I believe I can do anything with your sweet love. It shadows me, guides me. And even though we may disagree, still this faith is so strong. It carries me along easily. That's the way. You turn me around, you lift me up so high, I touch the sky. That's the way. With your love I'm found, oh baby, that's the way. Oh baby, that's the way. Love is the way. That's the way. You get the way. That's the way. Love is the Loving you, baby. Nothing will do, baby. Without your love, without your love, without your love. Love us to do it. We'll get through it. Love us to do it. Oh, we'll get through it. Really wanna do it.
Okay. Okay, I want to welcome you back to the house that Earl built, the number one internet radio station, IntellectualRadio.com. This is Rhythm Flow Radio with the boss lady of internet radio, your host, Katie Law. Remember, if your favorite show is Dana being Dana, The Drive at 5, He Said, She Said, J Spot, Making Waves with Miss Darcy, Here's to Lights, or Rhythm Flow Radio. They are everywhere, accessible anywhere at any time. You can always check on your favorite show on intellectualradio.com, wherever you are, at home or on the other side of the world. Now, I want to talk about, oops, I want to tell you about a young lady. I guess she lived in Galena, Illinois. I guess it's located in the northern part of Illinois. She was shot, she was fatally shot during an annual family reunion on Chicago's South Side. You know, we really have a gun problem here in Chicago. And it's not only on one side of town. It's not, there are sides of towns that you don't hear about. You hear about the west side and you hear about the south side. And usually they said the west side uh and Inglewood. That's how they put it. But first we gotta determine what's the west side. What is the west side of Chicago? Because when I be reading articles about the west side, they don't look nothing like the west side that I live on. These are they're out west, but they're further north when they give their addresses. So we know that if we say that everything north of Madison is the north side, everything south of Madison is the south side, everything west of State Street is the west side, everything east of State Street, excuse me, is the east side. But haven't you ever noticed just when you start reading articles and the person that wrote the article or the TV station or whatever that writes the article and post it, read how they describe the north side and the west side. Even when you listen to the news on TV and they talk about a killing or a shooting, or whether it was a child or adult that was mistaken, they always say the south side or the west side, or they say the west side and they say Inglewood. This is how I mean, it's always Inglewood, but Inglewood is not the whole south side. The south side has a lot of other little communities in it, just like the west side. The west side has what? Lundale. It has the Austin community. Uh, I mean, it has so many other Gilwood, all of these communities that are mixed together. Okay, and all of these communities all make up the West Side. But when you hear of a shooting, they give us a location. But let's start giving a truthful location. Now, this lady came for a family reunion, and she stepped out, I guess, to take a cigarette break. Guess they didn't want to smoke in the house, so they stepped out to take a break. And on stepping out to take a break, 5 minutes later, she was on the ground. 5 minutes after stepping out the house, a group of people to take a cigarette break. 5 minutes later, somebody not only are they shot, they're fatally shot. They're dead. We have a big problem with gun problems. Uh, I don't know if it's the gun law that's the problem, or if it's just the guns getting into the wrong hands of the wrong people. One thing I always think about, I have to smile because this is funny. Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't know if it's the gun laws, if it's just, some people seeking the opportunity to take advantage of a situation. Uh, I mean, all of these guns and all of these killings, it just doesn't make sense. I've always wondered. Well, I know if it was my son or daughter, and I know that they were out killing somebody, they would have to kill me because I would definitely, I would turn their butts in. I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. So before I probably would turn them in, they probably would kill me if I had those kind of children. But you don't have to worry about that. I'm safe. I'm definitely safe. But I often wonder when you have children that live in the house, whether they're young ladies, young men, and they have access to guns and you don't know what they're doing. I wonder, would the parents say anything? Would they ask them? Would they question them? If your kid was leaving home at different times of night and coming back in, and you suspected that it was something going wrong, are you the type of parent that would say something? Are you the type of parent that would not say something? And I'm quite sure there are quite a few of you out here, and you know that your kids may be involved. Hey, it's time to do something. I mean, next tomorrow, instead of it being this young lady that came from Galena who was shot and killed, tomorrow it could be you or it could be your next door neighbor. And it's just sad the way things are going, and we're as a community, if we want to live in Chicago and live in Chicago safe, you've got to work along with your community. You really, really do. And this gun problem, hey, last month it was right by my house. Yeah, they should. I mean, that car had to have anywhere from 13 to 20 bullets in it. And I don't know if anybody got killed, but there was red tape, and somebody said when there's red tape, that means that somebody has died, somebody has got killed. So I don't know. Maybe it's time for us all to wake up and just quit sitting back and talking about it. If you have a son or a daughter and their life is kind of not what you want it to be, question them about the things that they're doing. Because I mean, what if your kid was involved in shootings and you didn't know about it? Okay, they always talk about it being gang related, but I don't believe that this woman had anything to do with a gang. I think that she got shot. She was a random person that caught a bullet and she died because these bullets don't have an address on them. That bullet didn't have her name on it, but yet and still she lost her life. I don't know. It's a subject that we have to talk about, and we have to talk about it a little more because it's definitely getting out of hand. Okay. There's one other thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to play this other song. Low wage workers can't afford a two-bedroom rental anywhere in Illinois. They said because of wages, workers can't afford two-bedroom rentals anywhere in Illinois. Now, you know, everybody thinks that, okay. The average cost of utilities and rent for a two-bedroom apartment in Illinois is $1,084 per month. This number comes from HUD, fair market rent figures. In order to afford that without burden, would require to earn at least $20.85 an hour. That's about $43,366 annually, assuming that they worked a 40-hour work week. So, I mean, that's really something to think about. You need to earn at least $20, and the minimum wage in Chicago is what, $12 an hour? Yeah. Outside of the city, it doesn't have to be 12. It could be 8.53 or whatever the minimum wage is. But if you think about making $12 an hour, you don't make enough money to rent a two-bedroom apartment. You do not make enough money. You need to make at least $20 an hour. In Illinois, the minimum wage is only $8.25. I said the minimum wage in Illinois. I didn't say in Chicago, but in the state of Illinois, the minimum wage is only 8.53. That's the yep. You can look at me like that, but that's the minimum wage. Believe me, when I saw that the minimum wage is set at 8.25, I couldn't believe it, because do you know a person would have to put in 101 hours a week to afford this two-bedroom apartment. That's a lot of money. They're making 8.53 and you got to work 101 hours just to afford this apartment. So that tells you something about wages, period. I can remember back in 19 probably 75. I think the wages were like $3 and something, maybe 3.50 an hour. So we're talking about in 1975, if the wages were 3.50 an hour. This is 2019. And the wages, they just went up to $12 an hour July 1st of last year. So that tells you that the minimum wage it's really not growing. Okay? It's not growing. That minimum wage, could you imagine working for $8.53? You would have to save how many checks just to pay your rent? You'd have to save them all. Every last one of them. You wouldn't be able to spend anything. And pray tell, hopefully they would give you some food stamps so you could eat, because all of your money is going for rent and utilities. So that was my other thing. So, watch out for people that are renting. It's just it's just a shame. It really, really is. Okay, so we're gonna play you another song, then we're gonna come back. And I got another interesting topic we're gonna talk about. Okay, this one is by Shirley King. And the name of the song is A Mention of Its Name. We'll be back in a moment. Enjoy the music.
Thought of him overwhelms my mind. I wish I knew how to make him mine. He give me all the respect a woman deserves, and how I like to feel my arms around him, Got to feel my arms around him. I tremble at the mention of his name. If I could get him close to me, close to me, I show him how easy love could be. I give him all the respect a good man deserves and needs. How I like to feel my arms around him. Got to feel my arms around him. I tremble at the mention of his name. The mention of his name sends chills down my spine. It makes my heart beat out of time. If I could feel my arms around him, got to get my arms around you. How I tremble at the mention of his name. I like to put my arms around you. Got to put my arms around you. I tremble at the mention of your name. Got to get my arms around you. I just got to get my arms around you. I tremble at the mention of your name. Got to feel my arms around you. Got to get my arms around you. Got to get it. Got to feel it. Feel my arms around you.
I want to welcome you back to the house that Earl built, the number one internet radio station, IntellectualRadio.com, an iHeart radio station with the over 70 shows, 70 to 150 hosts and co-hosts streaming 24 on your smart device with internet access. Remember, if your favorite show is Dana being Dana, Drive at 5, He Said, She Said, J Spot, Making Waves with Miss Darcy, Here's to Life, or Rhythm Flow Radio. They are everywhere accessible, anywhere at any time. You can always check on your favorite show on intellectualradio.com wherever you are at home or on the other side of the world. I want to tell you, I believe her name is spelled Laylene Palenko. She was a transgender woman. She was 26 years old. And she was found dead in her cell on Rikers Island only because she couldn't afford to pay a $500 bond. She couldn't afford to make bail, $500. And she was pronounced dead an hour after she was found unresponsive in her cell. You know, that's why they got to do a reform. They were talking about doing a reform on bail. And, you know, I heard that there was a time when people got out on, what was it called? Reconnaissance. They could sign their bail, a slip that they would come back to court and they would let them go. Now, let's see, $500, you would need at least what, $50 in cash? I don't know if 10%. It didn't tell me that her bond was. It just told me that her bond was 500, and she couldn't afford to pay $500 to get out of jail. Now I don't know if this 500, because in this article it didn't say that if she could afford to pay $500 in bail, she would have been released sooner. Okay, I'm trying to find out what did they tell me that she did. Well, we knew she is known to have an illness that causes sudden seizures. That is really signs. They said that there was no sign of foul play. She was arrested in April for attacking a cab driver and possessing a controlled substance, which was about to be released the next week after she died. So I guess she was going to try to stay in jail and do her time out. But before she could be released, she died. Now they already said that she had some kind of illness that caused her to have seizures. Well, I mean, I guess the jails when you I don't know when you go to jail, do they have doctors? Okay, so I mean, or they could have taken her to the hospital. It didn't say anything about them taking her, but that she was just found dead. Um, I was just reading an article not too long ago where they're going to have some reform here. I guess I hope it's a whole state of Illinois and just not Chicago about the bond because a lot of people they can't afford to make the bonds even if they're little bitty bonds. They don't have the money. These people are poor. Another thing I want to say while I'm talking about this woman that died while she was incarcerated. Another thing we have to look at come January the 1st of 2020, it will be legal to go in a dispensary and buy you some marijuana, some cannabis. You can go in, you can buy you some cookies, you can buy you some brownies, you can get you some gummies, uh, liquids that you can buy with vitamin B12 and add on to your water. They have all kinds of things in the dispensary. But my thing is, what are we going to do about all of the people that are sitting in jail for cannabis crimes? Now, we're going to have it where we can go buy it and use it, and you can have a certain amount of ounces. But are we going to do some legislature? Are they going to go down to Springfield and have a bill or what they call it? It is a bill. That's the way they make laws. Somebody presents a bill to say that all of these young men and women who have gone to jail for marijuana possession or whatever, how are you going to look at their crimes now? Are we going to let them out and are we going to what they call it exonerate or expunge the crime from their record where it will not show up anymore? Because I mean, this is June. We only have 6 more months. And this is going they've already signed it to make a law to go in effect January 2020. So now how are we going to deal with all these people that are still sitting in jail for these crimes? That's one thing that really bothers me. I wonder how do they deal with young people or anyone that gets caught now and they got a marijuana joint. Do they take the joint and tear it up? Do they take the marijuana and throw it away? Or do they arrest them? Or do they arrest them? I've got to look that up. If somebody knows, you still have time to call me and give me the answer because I want to know that. I mean, the dispensaries are only open to those with cards, but I really wonder how are they going to do this? Are all these people going to get out of? Are they going to get a what you call it a get out of jail card? Are they going to exonerate? Take all of this off their record, make their record clean? I'm just wondering how they're going to do this. Okay, I'm going to play this next song. And this song is by my girl Tony Red. It's called Angel Baby. We'll be right back in a moment.
I can still see your face, hear your voice, feel your body next to mine. The way that you love me, baby, takes me to another time. Why did you take me to the skies just to drop me on the ground? You are an angel in my eyes, a gift I found. So angel, baby, don't go too far. Angel, baby, stay here with me. Angel, baby, don't go too far. Take good care of this body. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Still I keep on and keep on wishing that I'll see you once again. I know that I must be crazy, wanting you like this again. If there's heaven here on earth, it's next to you, and time only lets me know the word of loving you. So, angel baby, don't go too far. Angel baby, stay with me. Angel baby, yeah, don't go too far. Take good care of this love. Take good care of me. If there's heaven here on earth, it's next to you, and time only lets me know the word of loving you. So, angel baby, don't go too far. Angel baby, stay here with me. Angel baby, yeah, don't go too far. Angel baby, stay here with me. Stay here with me. Angel baby, stay here with me. Angel baby, stay here with me. Stay here with me. Stay here with me. Angel, baby, won't you stay here with me? Baby, stay here, stay here. Stay here with me.
Okay, welcome back to the house that Earl built, the number one internet radio station, IntellectualRadio.com, an iHeart radio station with over 70 shows to 150 hosts and co hosts, streaming 24/7 on your smart device with internet access. You are now listening to Rhythm Flow Radio with the boss lady of Rhythm Flow Radio, your host, Katie Lowe. You know, I was just thinking about last week when we had Michaela here, who was from Black Workers Matters. And while I was listening to the music, I really thought about how important wages are. If we were making 350, $3.50 an hour in 1975, that was the minimum wage. And this is 2019. And the minimum wage, it's only $8.53. We haven't grown very much. So, it just really kind of floated around with me. I understand Black Workers Matters. I understand, because a lot of times, even in the average wages, the men always make more money than women. Okay, they can do the same. They can be shoveling shit in the same hole out there in the sewer. He's shoveling and making 50, and she's doing the same job and making 25. So it really gives you something to think about. I'm gonna go out talking about that bad butt Serena Williams. Serena Williams is a champion in her own rights. She has proven herself to be, well, should I say it all started with her parents. They have proven to their parents and to the world, the sisters, that they are two of the hottest tennis players. And being African American, that kind of makes me want to pat my shoulder because it makes me feel good that they're black, that they're African American, black, colored, whatever you want to call them. But Serena Williams scores her first Wheaties box. Now, Serena Williams should have been on Wheaties. I mean, Wheaties catalog, any cereal box that you could think of. And if you want to talk about it, maybe some jugs of milk should throw a pitch on it. I mean, she's deserving. She is definitely deserving. But she just scored her first Wheaties box out of all these years. I'm not going to say what I am going to say. Jimmy John's, what took you so long? Wheaties, I just don't understand it. She should have been on this box years ago. And I just don't know how they could look over her. I know how they now I really know how they looked over her, but I don't want to say it because you'll call me a racist. But anybody in their right mind knows that Serena Williams should have been on the Wheaties box a long time ago. This is nothing new, but we do want to give a big shout out and a congratulations to her. I ain't gonna give it to Wheaties because they should have been scouting out Serena when she was a kid and having her on a Wheaties box. I mean, the girl is awesome. Her parents can be proud that they have some children that they could feel good about. I mean, we all should feel good about our children, but I'm telling you, her scoring that Wheaties box, that is something great to think about. I want to tell everybody, I'm truly sorry that JuJilla and Nut G weren't able to make it, and I know that they're at some hospital with Nut G's wife that's in labor, and I just hope they have a happy and healthy baby. Okay, let me give you my little thoughts for the day and let me get on out of here. Self love, self respect, and self worth, they all start with self. Remember, it's not what you are that holds you back, it's what you think you are not. Think about yourself and enjoy the rest of your week. Confidence will make you happier than any diet will eat you healthy. We thank you for tuning in to, this is crazy. We thank you for tuning in to Rhythm Flow Radio on intellectualradio.com. an iHeart radio station. And stay tuned for Here's to Life with Zimmer. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here. And hey, if you're off on Wednesday and Thursday, do what Shirley King would do. Enjoy the weekend.
Yo, J May, Shirley King.